Okay, welcome back. So, guess we need to go back to the main menu if I'm doing menu stuff. Menu lab level. Alright, Huff, good to have you with us. You're here straight away today. Well done. So, what is/has been going on? Well, I've been working on I've been continuing the work on the freeplay AI, and I believe now it's in a state, it's probably got bugs in it, and there's probably other issues as well. Oh, I can definitely think of one issue actually that will need resolving before we package. Hello, the crazed scientist. Good to have you with us. Right. So, I'm gonna add in the UI elements for the enemy colony setup. It's just tooltips I'm adding at the minute. Some of these might already have tooltips, to be fair. Although they won't have the because these were copied from the other screen, they might already have tooltip. No, they don't. In fact, that doesn't. I think most of these are fairly self-explanatory. Anyone I actually care about really having a tooltip is the final column here. Right, hello, Leaf Critter Ants and Pig of Death. Good to have you with us. The band, getting the band back together. Okay, so I want to do the colony cheats one. So I'll do one and copy it over. Because I want to give an explanation of what each of the cheats do. Each of the cheating levels do. And the cheating levels are probably... Alright, that boy I thought. The cheating levels are probably imbalanced at the minute. And are going to need some looking into, but we can do that during a test. Okay, so let's just work on this one for now. I think that's such a strange way of handling that, but it seems to be the only way of doing it, which doesn't break with language options. 1 second, I'm just going to get my explanations up and change the version of there in them, because I know the version of there in these explanations is wrong. I was wondering, the former carry and minor upgrades can boost Ereptor Leafcutter Mages and damage reduction to physical damage taken by 0.0005 per upgrade level, something similar. What would happen if I upgraded it so many times that the damage reduction got past 1? Is it theoretically possible to achieve that resistance, like forever? Physical damage taken. So if it's the physical resistance stat, so the way that works is it's a value from 0 to 1, right? That every that reduces it by a percentage. So it reduces damage taken by a percentage, I believe. Now there are some things in the game which increase that stat, which increase it the other way. So it has a negative version of that stat, so that increases damage from those sources, rather than reducing it. However, what you're talking about is reducing it below 0. I think there's a cap in that point. Have a quick look. It's in creature. 1 is the maximum it can be, -1 is the lowest it can be. So there is a cap. So you can cap. So you can take it up to beyond 1, and it would just cap out at 1. However, there is a minimum you can reduce damage to, which is a very low number, but my guess is you would just then deliver the minimum damage. Have a quick look for that. Temp final damage. If temp final damage, oh no, it just turns it back to 0. So I guess you could make an invincible unit, a unit that's invincible to physical damage, I guess. Will wood ants be able to shoot off the plants that leaf harvest from in free play? No. Wood ants won't even be able to climb the plants. But even if they could, ants climbing plants are considered off the playing field as such. They're following a set routine, so they get taken to the harvest point, they harvest, then they're taken back. They can't see enemies or anything like that whilst they're on the plant, so no. But yeah, wood ants will ignore plants. Okay. We're thinking about further down the line having like plants that have like aphids on them, for example. Ants that aren't leaf cutters could go up the plant to harvest from aphids. However, I'm not sure if this is going to make it into the game. So in that case, wood ants would be able to climb those plants to harvest the aphids, but they would just climb up, harvest the aphid, and climb back down again. Plants are quite rigid structures because of the way they kind of break the game's normal movement code. It's going to be similar with Titan climbing as well. They're not just going to be able to stand on the back of a Titan and shoot off. They'll be attacking the Titan. They will head to a point, attack the Titan, then leave when the Titan's dead, or they need to leave for other reasons. Right, Shuira. That'll have to do. Okay, right. I'm going to be concentrating for a minute whilst they get this done. Okay, so head start, duplicate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've actually got quite a lot to do today. So I'm trying to get this to the point where I can make the build so people can test it. So you might have to excuse me for not answering all questions. I'm going to have to rebuild paths in all the levels as well, because so much has changed with the movement because of the because of the fire ant bridges. The paths everywhere in the game need to be rebuilt, so I need to open every level in the game and rebuild paths. Okay. Right, so I seem to have written there wrong multiple times. I've written there as in over there instead of there as in belonging. Okay, good. Wondering why I'm putting these in separate variables here. I could have just put them here, but the reason I'm doing it is because I want a central point to call the text from, because then it only needs to be localized once if it only appears in the code once. Problem is, if you copy and paste the text to multiple places, you end up with it's pronounced Shuir. Shuaya? Is it Shuir or Shuaya? Will fire ants have majors? No, fire ants won't have majors. Fire ants in the game have just workers and a soldier class. In reality, they're not. They don't even have that. They just have workers. So yeah, they're going to be. They'll have the same amount of options as black ant in our game. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, cool. We will hopefully get to do some play testing later on. We'll have to see. I do want to play test at least one game before I make a build for people to test for me. We'll have to understand the free play enemy colonies are going to be a bit rough around the edges to start with, and there might be some situations where you can literally just confuse them to death. Okay, right, before I copy and paste that across the other two, let's give it a test. I'm an antkeeper from Germany. Will there be a Messer species in the game? Which one's a Messer barbarous? I'm sure I've heard of Messer barbarous before. What's their common name? Harvester. I don't think there's one planned. There's a couple of the species coming that I only know by their common name. I tend to learn the scientific names when Liam records the audio. Okay, I was about to test this, wasn't I? Okay, this is just a tooltip, so it's not going to be anything amazing. So let me check the tooltip for. Okay, so the tooltip for that works. Okay, that'll do. Let me just check that no tooltip things come up when hovering over anything else. Ah, right, I need to get that done. Okay. Okay, so there's another tooltip I need to do. I think with that one though, all I need to do is display the actual tooltip from it, so I don't think that's going to be hard at all. That said, there are a lot of them. Which is what's going to be the pain. Okay. We seem to be picking up the pace a bit here, which is good. We are going to get this build out. It's going to happen. These are some of the less exciting parts of game development. Attaching tooltips. Okay, that should be those. It's just the this needs to be copied and pasted for the other two. Oh, these need, yeah, I need to create a local variable. Should be fine. Same here. Okay, I should have got rid of the arrows. Yeah. Okay, coming back to chat. No, very big immobile wood ends. You are turning this into command and conquer ants with the AI colonies. Yeah, perhaps. Using capital words, but disappointing I won't be able to play the beta. Disappointing I won't. Oh, that's a shame. Any ideas for the termites? Those still planned, right? Yes, termites are still planned. Make of that what you will. And yes, we have ideas for the termites. That said, there's some of the less concrete ideas we've got for the forthcoming stuff. We've battered a few things around, and the termites are important. Got lots of plans for them, but there's some of the less fleshed out stuff that's coming up. We are going to need another planning session on the termites before we're sure what they do. No teaming up with the AI yet. Not yet. I am planning on implementing teaming up stuff, but from the get-go, I just want Well, that didn't work. Okay, why didn't that work? Initially, I just want to release a build with the AI in it, so we can get the ball rolling on it a bit. The AI is going to be, you're going to need quite a lot of iterations, so I've just kind of gone for getting through it as quick as possible. A lot of things are kind of set hard values rather than decisions, like how long it attacks for. If it starts an attack, a timer starts going down and then it stops the attack after the timer's hit 0, or if it decides it can't afford to continue the attack. So it's going to be a basic AI to start with. But things like teaming up, I mean, the systems are in the game to do it. So we will get there. But just not straight away. What am I doing? Oh. Yeah, it was these. Definitely added the binding in. Let's have a look at how it's dealt with here. Things you get hung up on, eh? So that's the thing that changes the thing. Right, okay, my guess is that changing the tooltip text breaks the whole thing. That's my guess. Let's test that theory. So I'm no longer changing the tooltip text. Sometimes there's just quirks of how things work that you just got to get used to. I'm just testing out on one of them to start with because it's a lot of faff for something that doesn't work. I mean, this is really what I should have done in the first place. Okay, so now that's running. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. We need to make some changes to how this works. So I can't change the tooltip text directly. I have to so this is going to be fun. By fun I mean tedious. Unit B text. Unit A text 0. Unit B text 0. Unit A text 1. And you guessed it. Unfortunately, this isn't the only thing I need to do. So don't get excited. Unit B text 1. Additionally, I now need to change the way that all works in the event graph here. So it's selecting. It's got a selected option there. Selected species, selected UOA, unit option B, selected unit option A, selected unit option B. Right, okay. This is going to be fun. Sure, there's a better way of doing this, but I'm pushed for time at the minute, and there's only a limited amount of times it needs to be used. So here we have it. I'm doing a switch. Nope. Nope. Oh boy, this is fun. I'll come back to chat in a minute. I'm trying to whiz through this as fast as I can because I don't want to delay the beta at all. Really, if I can avoid it. Come on. Blooming pin plugging. Right, coming back to chat. It may be one of the less interesting parts for most, but for me it just gives an idea for handling multi-threading in one of my projects. Nice to see this stream, by the way. It's interesting to watch how devs work. To watch devs. Says a lot about Slug Disco, wasn't it? Thanks very much. Best devs. Can we attack the scientists at some point? I'm not giving the story away. So, is there going to be a build soon? I wonder if I can cause a crash in 24 hours release. I reckon you can, Hoff. I'm pretty sure you'll find a way. Will the free play AI also receive nest invasions, or will nest invasions only happen to the player? Nest invasions happen to anyone. So the only thing that won't happen to the AI at the minute is attack waves. If you turn attack waves on, they'll only come at the player. However, enemy creatures attacking, I believe they pick a random player to attack when they decide to attack. Now, the way the AI is currently set up is it either attacks the weakest player when it decides to attack, or it attacks the player which it most wants vengeance on. So every time you kill one of an AI's units, it kind of notes it down in a score, which eventually fades away. But when it decides to attack, it takes a look at that score and also who's the weakest player and makes a judgment. Well, first of all, it decides whether it can attack the player it wants vengeance on. If it decides it can't attack that, it will go for the weakest player instead. But I can't attack that if its army's smaller and it doesn't have enough resources. The resources is actually dealt with separately. Anyway, let's give that a go. Let's see if the tooltips work. Okay. So I need to stop the tooltip appearing if the button's disabled. For a start, mortar, rapid fire, taunt, stun, mortar, rapid fire. Okay, cool. Tooltips work there. I just need to add the enabled clause onto it. I believe there was an example of that in here. So yeah. Unfortunately, I've got to do it 6 times. But here we go. One, two, three, four. Yeah, these are all them all. You can see where there's a high chance of something going wrong here when repeating the same steps over and over again. That's all done. Okay, another quick check to make sure they only come up when enabled. The AI doesn't actually care about what. Oh, must be a full moon. The AI doesn't actually care about what you're building. It just cares about the value of it at the moment. And it can see. It makes a decision based on your current alive creatures, like all enemies, current alive creatures. So you can't hide anything from the AI as of yet. But that could be something that we build in later. You could basically do it so it looked at your alive creatures and then filtered out any of them that were in underground, and like it had to discount them. So you could do that, but We'll have to see. Yeah, cool. I think that's fine. I think that's sorted. Okay, what's next? Okay, so that's tooltips done. So that's one of the things I had on my list. Tooltips for enemy colony stuff. Right, so there's a few things I've got to do. So I need to stop colony colours being able to be selected as the same in free play. Idle gather groups. Oh yeah, that's something else I need to fix. A gathering group should not be going into idle. I've got to prevent save if an enemy colony is on, because as it stands it won't reload properly. In fact, when it reloads it'll assume it's the start of the game and get really confused. Figure out why the AI was harvesting from faraway resources instead of nearby ones. Yes. Okay, so there were a couple of issues with it. The first of all, the value it was giving to distance wasn't high enough. So I've increased the value it's giving to distance. But secondly, as well, there was an issue with path lengths on begin play. So basically, when the map starts, it does one calculation to the points of interest, and then just uses those values until the points of interest change. However, the distance was coming back with 0 from all of them because there was something it needed doing in the it's something it needs to do before it could calculate the path lengths accurately. So there was an issue there, but also there was a weighting issue. As it stands now, if the computer has a large colony, it might still go for further away ones if it deems them higher resources. Sometimes it does it stupidly as well. So there are definitely issues with that still. But it's a lot better than it was. Right, so I need to prevent colony colours being selected as the same in free play. Shut that up. Liam's talking to me about call to arms stuff. He's talking about the markers. He's making changes to the markers. So there'll be some updates to the markers coming. But I've shut him. I've closed the chat now. It's no time for me to give him opinions on things. thinking? Okay, so colony colours. Okay, so for a start, the defaults on colony colours need to be sorted. So for a start, none of these should default to red. Let's just make them the next down the list. Now, when a colony colour changes, what it should do is it should do a quick check to see if any other colonies have that as their colony colour. If they do, it should swap with them. That's probably the most sensible way of doing this. And maybe you just can't select the colony colour that the player has. Check and swap colour. So it's going to receive a combo box. This is combo box brackets text. So this was actually something that I invented. So it wasn't a text combo box, there are only string ones. There we go. Now we just need this to do something. check the other ones. Damn it. Alright, David Dick, good to have you with us. Prevent the Ai Colony from causing errors and crashing the POI finder returns null because there are no landmarks. That's an interesting one. Don't know. Don't know what would happen if there were no landmarks. The AI would be very confused indeed. Right. Okay, colony color. Okay, so it doesn't equal that. Then we need to check that it's not the same value as that. Get selected option. Right, so if Mr. Big reveal. No, you didn't miss anything big. Just me doing options. I'm trying to get the build ready for beta testing this these AI colonies. Oh, this. So it's this thing, like you think you're done, and there's so many little things to do to polish. So you know what? There's an issue here. There's an issue here because the option's already changed. So I can't see what the option was before it changed. Sorry, I ruined your game. How do I see what the option was before it changed? I don't think I can. Right, so what I can do is I can find free color. Things that make it difficult in the end. Okay, there's plenty of ways for me to do this. I also need to find the color. Parent setup, free play setup. Don't think that's what I need. What do I need? Problem is, this is going to need to do it as well. Oh, this is so frustrating. So many things interacting with one another that can't be the same. Colony color. Combo box called colony color. See, the thing is, if I change that here, then I'm going to need to go through the AI colors and change them all. This is this is giving me a headache. You know, What happens when you press this button? No, not 4 each. Right. So it's going to go through all the options. It's going to make sure. Add. It's the kind of thing that I'm going to get through the whole process of doing, test it, and it'll go horribly wrong. Okay, so spaghetti, yes indeed. Okay, so it goes through them, and if the option's already taken, it skips on. Failing that, Sorry, give me 1 second. I need a break in the loop. A disturbance in the force, a break in the loop. Right, so if the option's taken, does nothing. If the option's not taken, returns the free colour. More spaghetti. Okay. So this should find a colour that's not being used. Now we need to go back to where we were. So check and swap colour. So if colony colour, so so if the option in is the same value as colony colour 1 and it isn't colony colour 1, then we find a free colour, and set that as the selected option. Whew. Right, let's carry on. It's basically that's happening again and again. More spaghetti. There's loads of spaghetti today. Hope you're hungry. Come on. Come on, we can do this. What have I done there? Okay, should we watch this fail horribly? Oh, lovely. First thing I hear is food. I want food. Give me food. There's about 40 minutes left of the stream, so I'll get food after that. Okay, so player's colony is going to be pink, and we can't set up blue, green, yellow. So if I try and set it to pink, for example, oh no, it doesn't do the player one yet. If I select pink, it will accept it. Yeah, but if I select green or yellow, it didn't work. Hang on. Have I even called that yet? What's this? Check and swap color. I don't think I've called this on all situations yet. Oh no, it is being called. Damn it. Right, well let's follow the logic through, shall we? Okay, so we've got to this point. So first thing it's checking is colony 1 colony 1. Ah, I think I know what's wrong. It says it if it's oh that's not equal. Oh, damn it. Carry on. Okay, so it's correct and it's got here. Free color equals nothing. So the problem lies in there. Okay. Red, green, green, yellow. Of course, because one of them's just been changed to green. Oh. That is apparently returning 0. So is that never run? Oh no, that is run. Oh no, it's not returning 0, it's got the right value. 8 different colour options. No, it's 9 different colour options, but one of them's option 0. So first of all, option 0, it's got red. So if it contains red, which it does, it's not going to do anything on this run of the loop. never returns true. I can imagine how much problems finding bug can be with all this spaghetti. Yeah, it can get a bit confusing. Depends on how neat you've kept things. That said, the breakpoints are pretty good. Looking for blue now. Blue isn't contained. True. Something's wrong. That's obviously wrong. Why is it saying that it contains that? Oh. Got a crash by the look of it. Is it a crash or is it just a warning? Yeah, it looks like a crash. Looks Unreal Engine related. Oh well, that sucks. Right, well, this particular issue is a bit of a conundrum at the moment. I'm going to note it down and move on. I think this needs me to do it offline. Okay, so something else I need to do is prevent the player from saving if there's enemy colonies, because at the moment I haven't set anything up for saving enemy colonies. I dread to think what would happen. Okay, I'm going to, whilst it reboots the engine, I'm going to show you all my glorious face, and we're going to talk about things. Okay, so I'm going to have a look back at the last week, starting from 30th, 31st. See what's been committed. There's not been a huge amount of commits. Matt is actually away for a little bit, so it's just me and Liam this past week. Okay, so Liam was working on the foundations for Ant Bridge mounting. Now, so Liam's been working on the bridges coming to the Fire Ant update. He's been doing the AI for them. I was going to do the AI, but I was in the middle of free play AI stuff, so Liam decided he'd do it. So he put the foundations in. He got rid of some annoying on-screen messages. He did prep for bridge building behaviours, cleared up some pathing issues, a null pointer fix in the creature bridge AI building, fixed a crash in path building, added a new editor path, debug features. So Liam's been doing a combination of working on the Fire Ant bridges and fixing bugs he's had with the pathing in general that has come up due to Fire Ant bridges. I, on the other hand, have been working on the AI, so I've got the AI cheats working, which the player can select what tier of cheats they want for the AI. I've got them positioning markers mostly sensibly and attacking the player. Yeah, so they do that now. I've got I've got Formicarium colonies working to some extent with the AI. It basically randomizes what it's going to build, so it picks two random units and goes for those. They can also be the same one, so it could go for a pure Leafcutter Major build, for example, if it was a Formicarium colony. But at the minute it's just random. There's no strategies programmed into it as such. So we'll see how it gets on during the test. So yeah, it's basically been me working on the AI and Liam working on pathing and Fire Ant bridges. Fire Ant bridges have taken so long to do. It just breaks so many of our current game rules. But we're very close now. Okay. So I'm going to look into getting this free play AI going. See what we can do there. Not free play AI. I've got to block saves during free play AI. I think it's in the free play director I can do it, because there is actually already something built in to block the saves. I think it happens when Dave. Save. Okay, so it happens on waves. Okay. Okay, so we also need to take into account this this other the waves disabling the save. Let me add a new bool in. AI save disable. So if AI save disable is true, okay. If AI save disable is false, so to say when the wave ends, you'll be able to save. Yep, that's okay. It's all good. I don't need to put anything in there, but I do need to put something in when we've got AI colonies. Doesn't really matter where this happens, but basically by that point we're sure we've got an AI colony. That should be done. The freeplay AI is based off the 3.1 AI colony, and a certain issue hasn't been fixed yet. It should be possible to confuse it to a state where it gets stuck underground. Very possibly. Very possibly. You'll have to report that. Okay, so I've got an issue with idle gather groups as well. Okay, so this is actually in the marker placement AI. Okay, so Um, right, let me just have a look what happens if they're idle. It looks like it waits for the group to return. That's not really what I want. I don't want after an attack a harvest group to have to go home. They should really just go straight for harvesting. Should give that a go, see what it does. If it's equal to idle, it's going to instead go harvesting. Else it'll do what it said it's going to do. We'll see. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. We'll have to give it a test. Okay. Right, I think I'm ready to run a quick test. We'll see what happens. I actually had a few crash reports recently sent to me, but I can't do anything about them in a minute. I'm gonna have to have a proper bash at sorting out crashes during the beta. Okay, right. Free test. Okay, let's just play and see what happens. My guess is that I will get 10 minutes into the game and then get slaughtered by an enemy colony, because that is the timer. I added a block before they are allowed to attack people, and because I've set one to the hardest difficulty, one's got a full colony already. So what will happen is we'll get to 10 minutes in, it will then do a look to try and attack someone, see that I am weak and feeble, and destroy me. That is my prediction. Currently, there's no victory conditions based on enemy colonies, so there isn't like a domination victory condition. That will change. It's going, isn't it? Yeah, it's loading. the editor you don't get the loading screen, annoyingly. Takes a while to run when you're in the editor. It's funny, like you run this in the game and it loads in a few seconds, but you run it in the editor, it takes flipping ages. It's the change of map that takes ages in the editor. There we go. Okay, I'll tell you right now what's happened. I haven't rebuilt the paths. I told you I'd need to rebuild the paths. I haven't rebuilt the paths. Fortunately, the setup is sorted. So currently the AI won't interact with the periodic flood now. It's not aware of it at all. It's something we'd have to add in the future. Right, it's okay. We don't have to go through that huge period of loading again. Stupid thing. But I need to rebuild the paths on embankment. I need to rebuild the paths on every level in the game before we get there. Well, this is about unharvestable resource. It's because the paths haven't paths have been the pathing system's been changed to deal with the fire ant bridges, because now rather than there just being one reachable mass, there has to be multiple that become accessible through bridges and water, because there are going to be creatures that can walk on water as well. So it's become quite complicated. Well, it always was complicated, but it's become more complicated. I think Liam is done with that aspect of it now. but basically the paths need to be rebuilt because the way the data is stored now has changed. So I press a button and it basically runs a routine that stores data on each tile in the game to allow the pathing to work. Give it a moment, because at the minute it's cycling through every tile in the map. Okay. Something else I want to check whilst I'm here, because sometimes the ramps need nudging. Because there was changes to the ramps. Yep, the ramps need nudging. Just going to do it to all of them. Just to make sure we're done on this map. Okay. Saving the map, then I'll run and we'll run a quick test. We actually changed the pathing system to use something called jump point search rather than A star. It's a bit quicker. Default Unreal Engine paths use A star. This map might be great for 2 versus 2, yes. Although at the moment there's no way of unrandomizing the start locations. See, that's the thing. Introducing teams, you will want a map to intelligently decide where you start. So on this map, you probably want one team on one side of the river and one team on the other side, causing the choke points. Okay, I think we're good to test. If the path's not being rebuilt, the lag will be massive, because basically what will be happening is the creature will be trying a path, failing, then trying again, constantly every tick. Although it does look like there's still path failures. Damn it. Yeah, there's still path failures.
The Queen has raised her first brood. These loyal subjects will lay the foundations of what could one day be a great subterranean empire.
Okay. Don't know what's telling me hello, but I've got a feeling it's important. That didn't look very promising. Yeah, there's something seriously wrong with this map at the minute. I have to deal with that later. The AI is not there. So there's more than a little bit wrong here. Something's very wrong there. I have to speak to Liam about that, try and figure that one out. It's got nothing to do with PC power. That's a bug happening. All that spam coming up on the screen, is it telling me that that it's repathing constantly? Right, I'll play on the map that I'll play on the dunes because I know that was working. There might just be some area of the setup that's messed up, or maybe Liam's repath code's got a bug in it that is bugging out on that map. It could be anything. I didn't put any cheats on for the AI. Oh well, I guess they'll have to try and play legitimately. Hey, quick question. I saw Worth a Buy play this game a while back and added it to my radar. How far along are you in general? So the campaign is 60% complete. And it's about 15 hours long, I think. No, it will be 15 hours long by the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, it will be 15 hours long by the end. So the campaign is roughly, if you play at a steady pace and don't rush everything,
This nest may be small, but given a
the
chance,
campaign
it will
is
grow to become a sprawling underground city.
currently about 9 hours long. The other aspects of the game, so there's a free play mode, which is basically a chance for you to just play around, and I'm currently adding Ai Colonies into that, although they're very early on. So we'll see if once we get to them. That's information about them deciding on the points of interest to go to. So if we have a look where they're going now, this is what? Black Ant Colony? No, it's a Formcorruptor colony. Okay, so they're going to a fairly sensible food store there. Yeah, that's probably their most sensible one to go to, actually. These are going where? They might be going up here, which wouldn't be a good idea. Problem is they've all got really small colonies now. Okay, these dudes down here seem to be doing alright. Although they're sending workers out to fight, which they really shouldn't do. Looks like they've retreated. That's the problem when you don't put cheats on for the computer, because they don't tunnel out underground stuff. They tend to dwindle and die very quickly. Because they'll send their units out to try and harvest. Oh, these are managing to get some leaves. Come on, run! So yeah, the campaign is still, there's still 40% to do on the campaign. There's about half the units in the game that are going to be in the final game. Where else are we with the game? I say I'm trying to introduce the AI colonies now, but they're a very basic standard at the minute. Looks like this colony's decided to harvest. That's not a colony. This is me, I think. Maybe this is me. One of them's not doing very well at all. In fact, none of them are doing very well. They haven't, like I say, they don't harvest underground. So on 0 cheats.
The colony is starving.
Oh, this one's getting somewhere.
There's not enough food to feed the new brood.
The Formica Raptor colony is getting somewhere. They've built a couple of units. Black ants, however, just seem to have given up. Oh, they've got a couple of units. How are the leaf cutters doing? Not very well. Yeah, everyone's doing better than me. I haven't done anything yet. Right, this is another thing I've got to fix. I've got to fix that that question mark, exclamation mark scaling issue that I didn't fix ages ago. So yeah, there's still more to go on the game, but we're getting there. And there's a lot to do in the game at the minute. It's not if you're just after the campaign, there's 9 hours of it. If you want to explore the rest of the game, people have hundreds of hours in it. And free play's endless potentially. Anyway, that's 2 hours of streaming there. Right round dumpling. Will there be any option to have a hands-off ant colony type simulation? The reason this piqued my interest was because way back when I played around with the game maker with some ecosystems that limited, I had great fun just watching them do their thing. Though we didn't really have reality TV. It's an interesting thought actually, is being able to just turn 4 colonies on and watch them do their thing rather than explicitly yeah, I think these colonies are doing terribly, to be honest. I think everyone's harvesters have died and they've run out of resources. Maybe even on off I need to give them a starting resource boost. that wouldn't necessarily help. The issue is, if I give them the starting resource boost, they'll spend it really quickly. You want to put them on slightly higher. Yeah, the the harmless creatures are scaling their tile surfers, which would be fine if there was a cap. I don't think there is a cap at the minute, so I need to. I basically need to cap how small and how big the tile surface scaling can go.
In the corner of the world, the creatures continue their day-to-day lives, unaware that a new power is about to rise in the Undergrowth.
So yeah, we definitely need to sort that one out. I'll deal with that when I get there. So you can see the scores it's giving the different points of interest. 34 and 69. 69 got a score of 2. Acceptable combat repass, go go go. Looks like there's some fighting going on the surface. Oh, full on food.
This colony must remain small for now. Food is too scarce to support greater numbers.
Starts in free play are always slow. Let it do its thing. Right, so I'm in the top left. What's going on?
The colony is starving. There's
Where are
not
these
enough
off
food
to?
to feed the new brood.
They're going to get food from there. It looks like they've finished harvesting all the food from here. That potentially would be a good location for them to go. They've clearly decided. Oh, looks like they've locked themselves into combat with another colony. How big they are will determine how willing they are to go further afield. These wood ants are harvesting there. So who's here? They don't seem to be doing anything. Yeah, there's definitely issues still. These seem to have just gone on a murderous rampage. I can see why it might come here actually. It's probably spotted all the food around here and thought, oh, I'm having some of that. But there is a lot more sensible options for it. Yeah, I might need to give distance even more of a weighting. The colony's doing very well. These look like they might have just retreated. Anyway. I might have left it too late to join in. It's definitely the most lucrative area. I definitely need to put more weight on the, because I mean if I take a snapshot, I mean the areas that are winning outright right, so one of them's got a score of point of interest 6 has a no point of interest 6 has a score of 6.8, which is way higher than anywhere else. I think we can guess where point of interest 6 is. but I will just check. Oh no, maybe not. Point of interest 6 appears to be mine. This colony likes point of interest 2. Oh, but especially likes point of interest 69. It's always the fish that come out top because the amount of food in a fish is huge.
The battle has begun.
There doesn't appear to be a marker there though. God, that colony's thriving. This one's doing nothing. I think the computer just gets stuck sometimes, like their harvesting groups get wiped out and it runs out of money, so it doesn't know what to do. Anyway, like I say, this is going to take a long time to get right. It'll probably never be right. It'll probably be making changes to enemy colony AI forever. Right, I'm gonna have to leave it there anyway. We're running over schedule. There's quite a few things I could do to help out, but really the computer needs to be able to recover from. It's going to. It's decided it wants my fish. But yeah, we're going to have to leave it there for now. Right, so yeah, thanks for joining me. I'll try and get this beta out as soon as I possibly can. It's not looking promising for today, to be honest. There's not that much longer left. So we'll have to see when we can get it out. Hopefully I can include the tug of war map in the beta as well, so people give that a test. Right, yeah, thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. It's alright.